Hello, before I dispense with the M's, I should get the mantell of the elephant out of the room. Hi, this is a bookshelf tour, and a good hunk of my bookshelf is devoted to Hilary Mantel, who I've read Flood, which I can't really remember too much of. I think it was kind of a British kind of historical of whatever period. I can't even remember that. I think it was it like kind of Victorian-ish? I've got two of her earlier books, which I actually haven't read yet, which are 8 Months on Gaza Street and Climate of Change by her. The big book for me of Mantell that's up until a recent read that had the most impact on me is her novel Beyond Black, which is set in sort of a uh, damn it. I always do this. I can't remember after which war it was, but I think it was after World War One. And they, it's one of these books I should reread, but it's all about kind of the world of spiritualists and mysticism, which seems to be quite connected with, I think it's the 50s, but it kind of, Mantell definitely kind of connects it with like the massive death of a ton of people through the two world wars and how people kind of dealt with that. And she does not truck in the ideas of kind of unlike the spiritualist who she follows in the book, who actually does see actual dead people, but it's one of those ones where the actual dead people are angry and raging, and it's full of it's beyond black. Um, the spiritualist uses her platform to basically kind of comfort people to get money off of them, and yeah, it's a really good book, very ghost haunted book in that way of deaths. Um, I read Wolf Hall a ways back, and when I first read it, I was not that impressed with it actually. I felt like it took Cromwell's side too much. This is the first of her Thomas Cromwell books. It won the Booker Prize, lots of laudits, but I was uncertain because it felt too much from his side, and it felt like it was maybe letting him off the hook too easily. Fast forward to this year, we've had the Cromwellathon, where Jason over at Old Blues Chapter and Verse hosted a readathon of all of the books of Hilary Mantel, waiting for The Mirror and the Light, leading up to The Mirror and the Light, the third and final book to come out. And so I reread this, and I found a lot more of like, oh, this is from Cromwell's point of view, but it's not necessarily buying what Cromwell is trying to sell, mostly just sell to himself as like, you're the hero of your own story, I guess is the cliche. But and then especially as you go on into the second of the books, Bring Up the Bodies, you start really seeing a darker Cromwell and how being Henry VIII's hatchet man really kind of wears down at him, and that he has his own beliefs, that he has his own kind of convictions. He is a man of the gospel. He wants a Protestant kind of idea of wanting to bring the Bible to people in their own language, and to sweep away a lot of what he saw as the very kind of corrupt practices of the church of the time, and a lot of the praying for the dead. And this is very much is in all three books, because then in the midst of the coronavirus, I bought this from Monroe's Books just on the day before they closed down because of the of Corona. Um, he is haunted by all the ghosts of the people that he has had the hand of killing, or maybe betraying, um, and also loving his wife, his children, but also like, yeah, Thomas More, Cardinal Wolsey. All these people crowd around him, and they crowd around him more and more. And I indeed have finished The Mirror and the Light now, and gonna put together some thoughts, and the world isn't burning, and it doesn't seem so ridiculous for me to come out with my declaiming my views on a novel. I'll publish a review, I guess, of The Mirror of the Light, and just my general thoughts on the whole series, of the books here, and that. And you could tell that I was really up, because I think I was in the midst of reading Bring Up the Bodies, and I was in Vancouver, pre-COVID, obviously. And I thought, oh, look, I found a little book, a little matchbook book of A Greater Place of Safety, Hilary Mantel, talking about the French Revolution. This little matchbook of a freaking behemoth, which now having waded through, I had found a lot of like parts in the mirror and the light that I got bogged down, and I don't know if I got bogged down because of where I was mentally because of the coronavirus, or if I got bogged down because of the book and sort of the just sort of unavoidable repetitions of history, going through queen after queen, that I was a little bit worn down, but I perked up at the end for this. But at that point with Bring Up the Bodies was like, oh, another Hilary Mantel to read. And it's like, I'm not going to get rid of it, but it might take me a little while to get back to reading more Hilary Mantel. I feel like, having read the entire Thomas Cromwell series as a very slow reader, and it took me a couple of months, March, April, and May, 3 months to finish off The Mirror and the Light, that it's going to be it's going to be a little while before I probably pick up another Hilary Mantel. However, you never know. I might do the review of this and then be so fired up I want to start the next one. I don't think so. I think I will. It's. I'm not married to her, and she's no longer married to Thomas Cromwell. So we can both take a break and do something else. Hopefully, I'm sure she's got plans of her own. Yeah. So let's leave M's there with Hilary Mantel, which is definitely the big M of the moment for me. More book tour later.